Yeah, I know. But shouldn't we have that sort of I understand in the place of religious tolerance there should be a balance, but should that really be at the forefront against having competent people on board?
Adibin we are proper, Adibin we are normal, and Adibin we are sane a bit. Your position should be the stake. But unfortunately, as you know, none of these drummings come up with sanity. It is in an attempt by a group to becloud the space that issues of this nature would be pushed. Yeah. Do you understand? Because ideally, are we interested in where she worships as we are seated here? Are we interested in where you go to? But we are adding value. We are doing something. But unfortunately, when we are ready to cause a distortion, we will bring an icon of destruction, which is this that you have said. We have discussed. When you want to overturn and upturn a people,
yep,
mostly you come and drop religion, particularly when you know that illiteracy is an art in their midst. So you see, having known that a larger volume of Nigerians over the years, particularly in our polity, we are illiterates. What I mean by illiterate is not people that cannot write or read, but you remain an illiterate in as much as your level of awareness is stopped on an issue. You see, on the issue of governance is not all about politics. Governance is not about who becomes who. But now, what do we envisage from this person that wants to be on this desk? But most Nigerians don't have. We don't know. Like I was asking, sorry, have you seen Nigerians ask someone that is vying for a position, just as a lawmaker, what are the KPIs for being a lawmaker? That maybe after your 4 years in office, what do you come out with and show us that these are the things you have achieved? Not constituency project. Because that is one of the executorial frauds of that desk. Because a lot of people have been made to believe now that because she is the rep member, 1 or 2 kilometer roads were tarred while she was in office, or she influenced 200-liter borehole, and that she has succeeded or performed. So we lack that concept. KPI, key performance indices. So as a people, if we know that becoming a governor, you would have to come up at the end of your tenure to share with us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things you have done successfully. Do you understand? Nobody will be so much interested in what part of religion this man belongs to. But now, because the people in question, they are aware that the bulk do not know. So they tend to come with that is most familiar, which is religion, and used to distort our faith.
Okay, for a nation that has 2 prominent parties, the winner of the 2023 election will most likely come from the 2, or at most a third force. Yep. And that third force needs to really be a force in that sense, which right now we probably do not have. So my question to you will be this: for the flag bearers we have, let's put it as 3 now. Do you think the flag bearers are competent enough to handle the challenges we face at this time? Because for us to get to that utopia of a freer, safer, more inclusive, more just Nigeria and probably more prosperous, we need competent people who can address the salient challenges we're dealing with at this time. So from what we've seen, because these are the options Nigerians have to choose from. From what we've seen, do you think there's hope for a better Nigeria?
My thought will be premised on the realities on ground. And like I do say repeatedly, because of my background and professional training, I am a process consultant whose axis in most cases keeps drawn on facts and credentials. You see, whoever may want to come up and salvage the wreckage on the country would have to bear minimal performance credentials. How do I mean? Have you done it before? What did you do well? What are they verifiable records of your previous performances? So with the candidates or the parties you have highlighted, sorry, do we have respective performance credentials
from them?
From them.
But making tough choices and making the tough calls.
Yeah. Do we have performance credentials? This is this party vis-a-vis the flag bearer. Have you done it before? how well did you do it? Even at the state government level. See, if I may digress a bit, I am from Ondo State. When Governor Mimiko was governor Ondo State, he ruled Ondo State then as a Labour Party governor. But if you go to Ondo State, almost everybody there will tell you that he did well. Do you understand? So you will see it is an amalgam of the party, the spirit of the party, and the personality of the flag bearer vis-a-vis his intention. So you will see whoever is up now, please let us check. One primarily is party. Has the party done well before, verifiably? Now the flag bearer, does he have performance credentials?
If you are juxtaposing the flag bearers, competence and credentials to that of the party, isn't that a bit, lopsided, considering that the flag bearers are oftentimes the ones calling, the shots in terms of representing the parties? Again, we know quite well that our socio-political reality is that most of our parties do not have ideologies. So when you now say you want to juxtapose the party's performance on the basis or the strength of that of the candidate.
No, I never said that. I am blending, not juxtaposing.
Blending, okay. When you want to blend that, isn't that a bit out of place, considering that parties do not have ideologies that would even guide the actions or the policies of the flag bearer? And the flag bearer, more often than not, just presides based on his own discretion. She
came up with an insinuation. A party is not a spirit. A party is not a machine. A party is an amalgam of persons. And within the persons, whoever takes the shot leads the party and dictates what becomes of the party. Do you understand? But for process, it may be absolutely difficult or impossible for someone with maybe top-ranking performance credentials to come onto a party that does not adore performance. Do you understand?
Yes.
Even if all you have in your mind is top-notch performance, or maybe if you had performance credentials, but now you are meshed or blended with a party that abhors performance, as a flag bearer, you may not walk an inch.
Well, we know that's not the case, especially in Nigeria's politics. There is no question of what have you done in the past, what does your party represent, and all of that. We have not had that in the past. But let's look at the options that have been put forward, especially for Asiwaju's running mate. We've seen Bagudu. Some people have said it could be Mustafa Lalong, we've also seen Zulum also as an option. There's also the option of Ganduje, several other, options, majorly from the north. Which of these do you see as possible candidates?
I would have lent your spectacle to view Zulum, but you would hear what Zulum said some weeks ago, that for now, he would prefer to be back to his people and still serve in same manner, because Zulum appears to be the only one with verifiable performance credentials. The rest are politicians, they are businessmen. Because I wouldn't know if I'm right. What performance Dutch can you attribute to any of these other names?
What about Boss Mustafa?
What is Boss Mustafa? SGF. Sorry, what can you highlight 2-3 achievements of his in office aside politicking? He has nothing to offer. And see, being an SGF differs from being a second in command.
But most times, vice presidents do not really do much, especially in Nigeria. How many achievements do we attribute to our vice presidents?
Ignoramus vice presidents. Ignoramus vice presidents. Or pervertible vice presidents.
How many of our vice presidents have
we never had one. The only one we'll have had, if not for his personality accident, Atiku Abubakar, while he was vicing Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. See, because there's this level of ignorance that is circulating, that vice presidents are mostly stampeded.
They call the shots regards the economy.
That's where I'm coming.
They do. Really?
They
in the real sense of
No. Hello, Mrs. Yellow. If you run through,
my name is Omobolanle.
You are yellow for this purpose.
No, please.
If you run through, my name. But
what I'm saying is that vice presidents, when you see as they are right now in the status quo, do they really call the shots? Look at President Muhammad Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The only time we really saw Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in action was when President Muhammad Buhari took a trip outside the country. And when he returned, he reversed most of the things that Vice President Yemi Osinbajo did.
You were around. So what could you pick of that. Naked incompetence.
On whose part?
Yeah, see,
whose part?
The president and the vice president are supposed to work in tandem. The president, whatever he does, is supposed to be backed up by the support of the vice, if only the vice is both aware and willing. You know, it's a different thing. You are aware of what you are meant to do. Like we were saying, the economic policies or the economic segment of the country is under the vice president.
But if should be.
No,
but is that what is?
But now, like I said, you see, if you remember the days of Atiku was a vibrant vice president. And upon that, he stepped on the tail and the ego of his boss. He was vibrant. His vibrancy was aided by his personality and expanse of knowledge and intention to perform. That was why you saw him. He came out and he made some marks as vice president. But now, see, when you have a vice president like we are having presently, if you have a vice president like we are having presently, you may not achieve anything. He would only lend his voice when the big man is not around, simply because he is a stranger in the polity. Professor Yemi Osinbajo is an academician. He belongs to the classroom. He is a pastor. And by the blend of all these qualities, you will never hear his voice in politics. Go and pick a Babatunde Raji Fashola. Pick Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and make him a vice president to anybody. And watch. Or this man, the former governor in Rivers State, Peter Odili.
Yeah.
So what you're saying now is that we've had incompetent vice president. That's why we've not really seen them in action.
Yep. Incompetent. Not that they are not brilliant. You know, this is not brilliancy. But for the job, your level of awareness and the doggedness to act. Because, you see, like the scenario we had about President Yemi Osinbajo, why would it be that? You see, vice president, they are supposed to be as close as a husband and wife. I'm here right away. My wife is the one at home. 1, 2, 3 things will be done by my wife while I'm away, and when I get home, I reverse it. What does it mean? Yeah, we don't coexist.
Okay, let's look at, beyond issues of running mate and all. We've said repeatedly that the task at hand is, enormous, and it has to do with the future of the nation in terms of the direction, want to chart at the course of nation for next 4 years. Looking at the task at hand, we're looking at security, we're looking at, the economy, we're looking at infrastructure. Yep. The various flag bearers we have now, how well do you think they can address some of these, issues or challenges?
I may not be able to absolutely plagiarize some of them.
But based on those we've seen.
Yep. If I may say, the little I know of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he will be willing to do as he did in Lagos, there may be respite.
For which sector?
Almost all the sectors. You will will realize when he was around here. I am not from Lagos State, but we all deserted. Most of us deserted our home states for Lagos because relatively Lagos was made a bit more comfortable than every other part of Nigeria. Courtesy the successive leadership of Lagos, part of whom Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was. And you will see in the Lagos we are speaking, while he was campaigning, some issues were brought up. If a man as a state governor could pitch a serious tent in electricity, road construction, and Lagos State security infrastructure, security system is far much better than neighboring states around here because of the styles of Lagos leadership. So for the few things he did in Lagos and that are still being sustained, if permitted and if he's willing, he may be able to do a bit better than we have.
How about the former Vice President Atiku on the basis of on the economic sector especially?
See, there's a bigger dot on Atiku. All that I reeled out the other time were underneath.
Yep.
But courtesy, the latter revelations about his personality, immorality, corruption, and selfishness. I wouldn't know if it can be turned around. For performance, he has a strong will to achieve whatever he seeks to achieve. Sure. But provided such is to the benefit of the masses.
Is Tinubu void of corruption?
I've been around here 2007 till date, 15 years, sufficient a period to finish anybody on account of corruption? Hello? Tinubu has not been in Alausa for the past 15 years. He has not been a nominee of the government. He has not been a minister. He has not taken up any political appointment since then. He has been a man on the street. So if the government or if the people have any verifiable credential document or recourse to corruption on him, he should have been taken off the stand.
EFCC was investigating him late last year.
On what issue?
Issues that have to do with corruption, apparently.
Categorically. So what ended it?
I guess it's still ongoing or inconclusive.
Well, we know the way corruption cases go in Nigeria. So the fact that someone has not been nabbed or the fact that somebody has not been thrown in jail for corruption charges does not mean that the person is totally free of corruption.
I did 15 years in the bank as an investigator, internal controller. I am an auditor. I'm a detective. You wouldn't be having barrage of corruption and corruption cases or corrupt cases around you, and you will be free through a spectrum of 15 years. If Tinubu had cases of corruption or issues of verifiable corruption, it would have been brought down last week.
Well, verifiable is the word, because in Nigeria, to verify something.
You remember my uncle, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo? It would not take him 3 weeks.
Oh, he's your uncle?
Yes, liturgically. It will not take him 3 weeks to pull you down. Because all you will need to do is, you have done this, the next thing, you know, see, when you are dealing with the government, please, you are fighting an unwinnable battle. You know, for the government to move against this cop, the government does not need to hire lawyers. They don't need to hire investigators. They don't need to hire people to run the race. They have them already on ground. So if there's any, like I shared with my wife last week, I said, if truly President Muhammadu Buhari was not interested in Asiwaju's candidacy and is willing to stand the rail and bring him down, it does not cost him 3 days. Deploy EFCC, deploy ICPC, and come and relocate to Alausa and spend 2 weeks in Alausa with the files and documents there. Please, people will bring out documents.
Okay, let's look at Peter Obi as well. I mean, that's probably a third first, although you want to question the platform as well, how strong it is, considering it has no states in terms of dominating. But Peter Obi has another candidate, popular within the youths and among those who use, you know, the social media. How competent will he be? Again, it's about someone who is competent enough to call the shots for the task at hand. Looking at the various sectors we have, and as a capitalist, how well do you think it would fare, especially in the economy?
I would not lend an atom of support to a Peter Obi's candidacy.
Why?
Why? He was once on a state.
Okay.
So how was the state before he became the governor? So how well did he leave the state?
Okay.
Then today, what does the state have to say? Then does it, you see, there was something last week and some 3 years ago. If you are gunning for the top man's position, the first question is, they look at your base. What is Peter Obi's political ownership on his base state? What electoral support and value does he have where he belongs? Hello? You see, the whole of this we say about Asiwaju, about some other persons, because back home, you saw the trauma with President Yemi Osinbajo and the emergence of the new governor of Ogun State. You know, it was a serious wahala, because at a level, it was that as a sitting vice president, would I not deliver my state? So if an Obi is due for any atom of consideration, if at all any, please let us relate it to his base.
But you are saying he hasn't done anything for his state. But when you ask some Anambrans, they will tell you that he did well during his tenure.
Maybe you advise one or two of such persons to come and reel out such performances here that others can verify and affirm. Do you understand?
We know quite well that, I mean, Anambra is, you know, predominantly an APGA state, sometimes PDP. With Labour Party, again, that platform, because you cannot, you know, detach the subsets or the superstructure from the base set.
The base set.
Now, looking at, you know, Labour Party in terms of politics, it's even
national
politics. You know, it's difficult to even, you know, classify it as a regional party. How much more one for a state? You think that's probably a great undoing on a part?
No, that is part of the leverage we are trying to analyze. You see, winning an election up there, is not an altar call like my brother-in-law did, Tunde Bakari.
Yep.
And you saw the volume of votes he got just yesterday. So if you want to move towards this target, what it means to win, late Obafemi Awolowo said something before he died. He said not until after he lost that election, he never realized that to become Nigeria's president, you need one, either or both, the support of the ruling party or the people with the most volatile electoral value. You know what I mean by electoral value?
Yes.
Those that have the vote. The block of vote. You saw the permutations that brought Asiwaju and Buhari together. It was not that they were friends before the alliance, but they realized that over the years that Buhari successfully lost, he had a block of votes to his advantage. Now they realize that if we'll merge this with the little we have here, it will move beyond the bridge. That was what brought him up. But now for someone who, one, cannot even absolutely deliver his home state, now to go into a merger or a supposed alliance with a party without a structure or a bolt is a double tragedy.
Do you see any third force emerging? We know it's already getting...
We may only continue with the social media third force.
Is the social media strong enough to pull?
Never. Social media does not deliver any vote. It's just propaganda all the way.
All right, that's a fine place to leave it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adewale Adekola, for your thoughts.
Ademola, you are misleading me like I did to you.
Well, I get
unequal terms.
All right, so take a break now. When we come back, more conversations right here. Time to talk money, actually. Please stay with us.